One of my favorite things to do is review my Letterboxd stats. I feel like it gives me such a great idea into myself, understanding what I gravitate towards watching, what I don't, where my blind spots are. And last year I watched over 400 films, which is honestly crazy to say. I was blown away when I hit 300 last year. I can't believe I hit 400. Let's go for 500 this year. We'll see if that happens. But what I would love to do, this video is going to be a two-parter. The first part here is going to be really just about diving into my Letterboxd stats, just kind of investigating what happened last year and what were those 400 films that I checked out. But then the next part, I want to really investigate the films that I loved the most. Not the best 2024 films, that'll be another video, but just the best films in general that I watched in 2024, because I watched a lot of different things, as you'll see in this video. And I really want to highlight some and share some of the ones that I found to be the best. So anyway, let's jump right into it. My Letterboxd stats for 2024. As we can see here, not gatekeeping anything, 405 diary entries, 405 films watched. That is crazy. I can't believe it. That just blows my mind. 736 hours. Somebody put in the comments how many days that is. Actually, you know what? Don't do that. I don't want to know. I don't want to know how many days that is, because that will just kind of that'll hurt a little bit. All right, let's jump down here. So first thing you'll notice is I really went hard in October this year. So I made it my goal this year in October to watch a spooky film every single day. And I'll be damned, I made it happen. In a lot of cases, I was watching multiple per day. It was a lot of fun. And I guess that's the first thing I would notice about myself this year that I really enjoy. I really enjoy structure. Not everybody might like that, but for me, having a task, having something to check off really helps motivate me to keep going. I think that's the appeal in general of Letterboxd, is that you get to track what you're doing, you get to hit goals. But even on a smaller, more micro level, having little mini goals, whether it's watching spooky films or watching Christmas films, or, like right now, currently, as we're in 2025, I'm watching through all the films from 2024, all the new films, right? I love having a box to check. I feel like it really keeps me on track. It helps me stay more productive and do more. I could see a lot of people going like, that is a horrible thing. No, I hate that. I don't want to do that. And I totally get that. But this year really proved to me that that is something that I benefit from. And so that's something I'm definitely going to keep doing in the future, from Halloween films, holiday films, New Year films. So like films from the previous year, to catch up on those before the Oscars, and then maybe seasonal films. I don't know. I mean, I won't be that rigid with it all year long, but it is something I've noticed that has been really, really great. So moving on to some more milestones here. So the first film I watched was Saltburn. This was an interesting one because when I first saw it in theaters, it was like a 5 out of 5 for me. I was blown away with it. And I think the reason I was really blown away so much was because I was not expecting anything. I went in expecting less than nothing. I didn't even know what it was about. And in the initial, I was really blown away with it. I liked it a lot less the second time, but I actually made a video about this in the past. I think this movie's good. I think it's not what a lot of us want it to be or think that it should be. But if we just take it as is, it's pretty solid. And the last film that I watched was A Different Man. As you'll see in my best of 2024, this one may end up being the best film that I watched last year. It was so good. Sebastian Stan is just astounding. He is so good. Between this performance and his performance in The Apprentice, he's a different breed, man. That dude is awesome. And this was no exception. His performance here was great. Some of the milestones I hit, gosh, this is just crazy to look at. I can't believe I hit 400. So the first film I watched, it's called The Promised Land. That's what it is. I don't know why it says The Bastard there. I guess it looks cooler. But The Promised Land, great film with Mads Mikkelsen. Really, really enjoyed this one. Got to see this one in the theater in its very, very short limited run there. The First Omen, really good. I ended up watching this one twice. I didn't love it more the second time. I didn't like it less the second time. This is a very solid horror movie. I'm a sucker for a religious horror, and I think this one is very, very good. I'll probably be adding this one into the rotation yearly or every other year because I just think it's great. The Man Who Fell to Earth. What an interesting movie. What a really interesting movie. David Bowie is just magnetic on screen. He really is. People talk about what was I just watching? Oh, I was just watching Better Man, and one of the things they were talking about in that movie is like whether you have it or not. David Bowie has it. Whatever it is, he is the embodiment of that. It's really astounding to watch him on screen and do his thing. He's so magnetic and enigmatic and just strange and compelling. And, you know, the movie itself is very interesting, very strange, very unique. But David Bowie himself just takes it to a whole nother level. I would run to go see this. Very worthwhile. Even if it's one of those movies, even if you don't like it, there is a lot to come away with and a lot to enjoy. So definitely check that out. Purple Rain. I went to see this 2 days in a row. My local theater was playing it. There was a new 4K transfer going around, and they were playing it. I went to see it. Blew my socks off. I could not believe what I was seeing. I don't know why, but I loved it so much. It just blew me away. The very next day, I took my mom and my wife. I was like, yo, y'all are coming with me. We are going to see this movie again because I wanted to see it. I wanted them to see it. Loved it just as much the second time. The sincerity in this film, man. Like, there's no wink. There's no nod. It's cheesy. It's corny. It's everything you think it would be, but it's earnest and it's sincere and it's fun. And the music slaps. The music is so good in this film. I saw it twice in theaters and then bought the disc of it. So yeah, this is instantly one of my favorite films. Again, kind of like the others here. I totally get if, you know, this is not everybody's jam. It is cheesy, but man, it just worked. There's not a single part of this film that didn't work for me. This is a weird one. Lorna the Exorcist. This is not an exorcism film. Nor is it necessarily a film as much as it is a porno flick. I don't know why I called it porno flick. Like, what am I, 50? But anyway, like, this is an odd one, but shockingly good, actually. Like, it's not exorcism. It's as the cover shows, I think it's like a vampire flick kind of thing. I don't know. I think I got this through, like, Kino Lorber for, like, pennies on the dollar or something like that, and so I was just giving it a go. Really solid. Hold on, let me see the director of this. Yeah, great review, Andrew. Good job. Who's the director here? I want to see. Jesus Franco. Yeah, or Jess Franco. Yeah. He's an interesting guy. If you haven't checked him out, check this out. Like, check this guy out. He's done a lot of different things. I think he did a Count Dracula with what's his name? Christopher Lee, I believe. I could be wrong there, but I think he did. Really interesting, really, really solid. I mean, he really leans into the, you know, erotic, you know, borderline porn. But it was really good. It really shocked me. Oh, no, spoiler. It really shocked me how good it was. So yeah, maybe if you're looking for something spooky and the parents aren't around, give it a go. Lorna the Exorcist, the movie about not an exorcist. That'd be good. Next one, as you can see, I really went hard during Halloween. I was just burning through scary movies. Drag Me to Hell, Sam Raimi. I went so long without seeing this. Finally got to check it out on the new 4K disc. Really, really fun. I really, really liked it. I didn't love it. Maybe I'll love it more on a rewatch, but just on an initial watch, I thought it was super fun. I thought the lead lady there, I can't remember her name, she was great. She was really, really good. She was easily my favorite part of the movie. And then Justin Long is just always Justin Long. He's always great in anything that he's in. This is the worst movie I've ever seen, maybe in my life. I'm not being facetious. I'm not joking. I'm not just being, you know, over exaggerating how bad this movie is. This movie is really, really bad. And I'm a big American Pie fan, like a big American Pie fan. I love the original 4 films. I have a soft spot in my heart for The Naked Mile and Beta House. They're, for what they are, they're fun, right? They're not good movies, but they're fun, right? They do what they need to do. Is like a sex comedy, whatever. And they're a time capsule in a lot of ways. It's enjoyable to watch, you know, for that reason. But this, it takes the concept, drives it off a cliff. You know what? I'm going to add a clip here of one moment in the movie that I had to pause, rewind, and record because it was so shockingly bad. I'll just include it here, and then we will move on from stop talking about this movie because I don't want to give it any more airtime.
What are you pillow biters doing here? Stifler? Whoa, don't eat that. You're gonna get fat. I'm super horny. Want to suck me off in the sharper image?
Okay.
And now we move on to the 400th film, which was Nosferatu. Really, really loved this one. It's just atmospheric, fantastic. I'm excited to watch it again because I don't want to say it hasn't set well with me. It's set very well with me. It's like every time I think back on it, I'm reminded. I'm like, oh yeah, this was really, really good. But having just watched through The Witch and The Vivitch and The Northman, I'm really curious how it's going to hold up because both of those two films are damn near perfect to me. The Northman, I think, is perfect. The Vivitch is getting there for me. Like in the past, it was like a 3.5 to 3 stars. I just rewatched it. Now it's around like a 4.5. Like it's really growing on me. So I think this one might grow on me over time. I mean, again, it was a 5 out of 5 on my initial watch. So it's not like I didn't like it, but it's just, I don't know if I could how to explain it. Maybe y'all know what I'm talking about, but it hasn't had the mental resonance like his other films have. But we'll see how it goes over time. Most watched, Deadpool, went to see that one a couple times. Purple Rain, Late Night with the Devil. This is a great one. Liked it less the second time, but it's still a fun watch. I think it's a good party watch, I think, or group watching with some friends. I think that'd be really, really good. This movie, All of Us Strangers, I went to see it in theaters last year. Yeah, obviously. I guess I went to see it last year, I think last January, to try and catch up with all the movies from the previous year. And it floored me. Absolutely. Like, just leaves you in a puddle of tears. It is so moving, so powerful. And I ended up watching it again, and I loved it even more the second time. Criterion put out an amazing disc for this. If you haven't checked it out, absolutely check it out. I can't say enough good about this movie. I mean, it was just so, so, so incredible. Moving on. Numbers, stats, cool. Yeah, there we can see the horror films did a lot of work in my themes and all of that here. All right, let's check out the breakdown. This is interesting here. So 87% were old films and 12% were new premieres. Now, this is kind of skewed because I watch a lot of the 2024 movies now. So we're in 2025 and I've watched like 50 2024 premieres. So this number will skew a little bit there. Okay, here's the fun part. Who has been the primary cast that I've checked out? Willem Dafoe. I think this was the case last year too. What all did we watch from him this year? Okay, we got Asteroid City. I totally forgot he was in that. New Rose Hotel. I'm going to add a clip here. One of my favorite scenes in the movie. It's just hysterical. And then we got The Lighthouse. Autofocus. That was an interesting one. That was a really, really good one. I think it was Paul Schrader. Beetlejuice, American Psycho, Tommaso, Saturday Nights, and Nosferatu. This dude is in everything. Like, he is in so many things. It is just crazy. Whoa, where are we here? There we are. Okay. Eugene Levy, watched through all the American Pie movies. That's why he's there. Same thing with Doug Bradley. I watched through all the Hellraiser movies. That's why he's there. J.K. Simmons, much like Willem Dafoe, just loves to show up and shit. And then Michael Shannon. I'm not sure what all he's in there for. But again, kind of character actor, I guess you could say. I don't know if you could exactly say that, but he just pops up a lot. Let's see what I saw from him. The Bike Riders, Dead Birds. Dead Birds is great. So that was a great movie. Knives Out, Before the Devils Know You're Dead. Great movie. Really, really good one. Is it Abel Ferreira? I'm blanking. I think it's Abel Ferreira. Bad Lieutenant. Totally forgot that he was in that. And A Different Man. I also forgot that he was in that. Oh, yeah. Now I'm remembering it. As I think about it, I remember now he was in that. Great actor. He's one of my faves, man. He's so good. And then I'm probably the only person in the world who has Chris Owen on his most watched actors. But again, the American Pie films, he's one of the ones, along with Eugene Levy, who really showed up the most. Directors. Got David Lynch, watched through a lot of his stuff, as well as Twin Peaks. Ken Russell, man. Ken freaking Russell. He has become probably my favorite director. No joke. He has really become one of my favorite directors, or my favorite director, not just one of. When you talk about variety, varied styles, an expansive filmography, this dude has done it all. I mean, you have controversial films like The Devils, which maybe he's most known for, but then you have a neo MGM musical like The Boyfriend, a horror, psychedelic horror like Altered States. what else we got? Biopic. My favorite biopic ever, Savage Messiah, and then romance films like The Rainbow. What can't Ken Russell do? Seriously, I mean, this dude is so phenomenal. I would highly encourage you to check him out. If you haven't seen anything from him, these are the three I would probably start with. If you read the description of each of these three and then just pick what sounds good to you. If you're into musicals, this one is phenomenal. You won't find a better 70s musical than this, probably. If you like horror, Altered States is there. If you like religious and religious films discussing philosophy and morality and all that stuff, The Devils is definitely for you. Any of these are a good choice. But these three, I think anybody could like. A lot of these might be more hit or miss. Any three of these, you're gonna enjoy. William Hurt is so damn good in Altered States. I mean, he is just absolutely incredible. Yeah, Ken Russell, man. I saw one or two of his films in the previous year. And what is going on here? Yeah, I saw one or two of his films in the previous year. And then 2024, my goal was to watch as many of his films as I could because I just fell in love with his style. Watched several of the Coen Brothers films, watched several Abel Ferrara films. Really, I'm starting to love his films. The Addiction, another movie that just kind of cemented in my top four, cemented in my favorite films of all time is The Addiction. That the way that movie plays with humanity and resurrection and the ideas of just becoming a better person. It does so much in so little amount of time. It really is astounding what he managed to do with The Addiction. So if you haven't seen The Addiction, I'll actually pull it up here to make sure that you see it. So Tommaso, this is another, I'm jumping around here. I'm going to start with The Addiction and then I'll come back to Tommaso. Became my favorite film. The way it plays with just an exploration of humanity and sin and morality, it's incredible, and it's so layered. And for a film that is, how long is this film? It's short, I believe. 82 minutes. What he managed to do at 82 minutes is breathtaking. It's incredible what he managed to do. Tommaso was another film that was an instant 5 out of 5 for me. This might be one of Willem Dafoe's best performances. Yeah, there we go. I'm repeating myself. It's one of his best performances. I'm just going to leave this one here. Just check it out. I would highly encourage you to check this one out. It is just astounding. I keep using the same words, but it's like I just can't hype this movie up enough. It's really, really, really good. And the way it was shot too, watching the bonus features on the disc was amazing. It was very, there was not, I mean, a lot of it was improvised. But, a lot of people say that and don't really mean that. A lot of this was improvised, which is really, really cool and just shows the strength of Willem Dafoe, but also his collaborative efforts with Abel Ferrara there as well. Moving on. Sam Peckinpah. This is an interesting one to mention. Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia. I had the chance to actually meet the son of Warren Oates. True story. We were at the theater. There was a presentation of this movie happening. God, I'm such an idiot. This is the dumbest. It's the dumbest. Okay. I'm going to leave that off the screen. This movie, first of all, was a great movie. Really, really good. But the son of Warren Oates attended the presentation of this movie because they were doing there's a local professor who was talking about the film and just kind of, taking you through some stuff. And his son came, brought the original screenplay. I'll put the picture up on the screen here. Brought the original screenplay that had an alternate ending to what was shot in the actual movie or what was presented in the actual movie. One of the coolest experiences I've ever had. He's such a great guy, down-to-earth guy, had loads of knowledge and just, amazing stories and awesome stuff about his father as well as Sam Peckinpah. He told us stories about the Wild Bunch, about 4-hour cuts of certain movies. One of the coolest experiences I've ever had. But also just this movie on its own right is really great. Really, really great movie. Pat Garrett, Billy the Kid, another Peckinpah. I'm going to be revisiting. It didn't grab me a ton the first time I watched it. Like, it was technically fantastic, amazing performances, but I guess I was just expecting a lot more, and that's probably just on me for my level of expectation. Peckinpah, I won't say underrated by any means, but at least in my eyes, he was a blind spot for me until this year, and I'm definitely going to be going through a lot more of his films checking out more of them and learning more about his contribution to cinema. Scrolling down here. All right, who else do we got? Come on. Let's keep it going. Michael Haneke. Okay, if you haven't seen Michael Haneke, I can't say I recommend Michael Haneke, but I ain't exactly gonna say I can't recommend him. Where do you even begin with Michael Haneke? I don't know. He makes you really question yourself, question your film choices, question everything in your life. He is a very challenging person to watch. Not a movie you throw on, when you're at a party or in a good mood, because that will quickly change it. But impactful. I mean, what else can you say other than impactful and powerful and kind of altering the way that you see things? I think I watched Funny Games after my month long of watching 100 horror movies over October. I ended up watching Funny Games, and that really put things into perspective for sure. If you're not familiar with Funny Games, it's really big on just kind of confronting the audience about violence and how we long for it in a lot of ways. I mean, it's about a lot more, but that's what I took away from it in the initial aftermath of watching 50 gory horror movies over the month and then watching Funny Games. And it was like, a parent just kind of scolding you or spanking you, because I'm like, damn, okay, thanks Haneke for making me feel like garbage. All right, let me scroll through here, see if there's anything else I want to mention. Magic Mike 2 remains one of the best films ever. Just going to drop that in there. All right, so that's a wrap on my 2024 wrap for Letterboxd. Those are some high-level numbers. What I really am excited to do is dive into all of the films that I watched last year and highlight some of the best ones, some of the ones that move me the most. I obviously already talked about several of them, but there is so much I did not talk about that I really want to explore with you all and just kind of take you along my journey, right? One thing I said in last year's recap video is how I was really awakened to my ignorance, really awakened to what I didn't know. And I made it my mission last year with the 300 watches to learn, educate myself, and just grow and just get better. That's continued into this year. And it's just such a fun experience becoming, what should I say, a sommelier, right, of films, right? Not to be pretentious as fuck there, but just to learn what you're tasting, right? Really figure out the difference of what I like, what I don't like. Like with Ken Russell, I'm starting to learn what I like. I'm starting to learn what I don't like. That is so fun. It's going from baby food to steak. And that's such a fun process. And so the point of these videos is kind of pull you in and like I was inspired a couple years back to do so. I hope this inspires you to dig deeper, watch more, whether that's using Letterboxd, whether that's not, whether that's creating your own spreadsheet, or whether that's just watching for fun. Do your thing, man, but just really dive in. There's so much to enjoy here, and it's an endless well of awesomeness. So look forward to the next video. In that video, I'll be going through all the best films that I watched from last year, and I'll also probably recap some of the strategies I used to reach 405 films, because I think it's really important to highlight that you do actually, in fact, have time to watch movies. For most of my life, I thought I didn't have time, or I thought it was a waste of time. It's not a waste of time, and you actually do have more time than you think if you stop doom scrolling and stop wasting your time. So I'll be diving into that into the next video. But if you enjoyed this, leave a like. That would mean the world. Also, leave a comment. Let me know some of the films that you watched last year. Let me know some of your favorites. Let me know if any of my favorites are just insane or any of my takes are ridiculous. I'm sure they are. Let me know in the comments below. I look forward to reading those. Thanks, y'all.